we live?
I believe we are live.
We're live.
Yes, we are live. Just want to confirm that before we begin. Yeah, I think we're live. All right, let me turn this off. Hello, everyone. It's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to episode 2 of our Into the VRAINS podcast, talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Candle in the Wind. If you are not familiar with this segment, it's a live stream segment every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, unless otherwise stated on my Twitter. We get a bunch of, we all sit around the table and discuss our most recent thoughts on Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. We have a new person joining us.
That's me.
And his name is DJ, but Swami is his username.
Yeah.
And
you've seen him in the chat, I'm sure, for those of you who have tuned in before.
Yeah, you're a big VRAINS fan, right? Big VRAINS fan?
Yeah. I watch it all the time.
DJ hasn't seen an episode since the original Yu-Gi-Oh! But good friend of ours, Jordan, was not around, so perfect guy to moderate.
I'm the second option.
Yeah.
Yes. A great second option, though.
Yeah, great. There's nothing wrong with that. We have Nick T joining us as always.
Hey, guys.
And we have Cal. So are you guys ready to discuss episode 88, the first part of Soul Burner versus Windy?
All right.
Very excited for this.
Yeah. Why don't you start it off?
All right, I'll start it off, I guess. So, I always like to talk about something, kind of like an opening monologue. Thank you to everyone who's joining, by the way. I'm not reading the chat, but I always do go back and read after. I always like to start off with an opening monologue, something that I didn't really touch on in the review, and something that I absolutely loved, that VRAINS has done, I think, very consistently and subliminally, are age-old adages about how human beings are so result-driven, and it doesn't matter how you get to that end result, just getting to that end result. And I want to compare it to sports, whether it's European football, American football, hockey, baseball, basketball. It doesn't matter how dysfunctional a franchise is, as long as they win the Stanley Cup. As long as they win the Super Bowl or the Champions Cup. That's all that matters. And I will tie this into the episode. Don't worry. I know you guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? I will tie it into the episode. I want to take two teams, the same exact team, extreme dysfunction, so much noise coming from it, so much infighting in the locker room. One route, path A, they win the Super Bowl. The other route, they don't even make the playoffs. The team I'm referring to, the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL, which I think have always been an under-the-radar, very dysfunctional franchise. But this year in particular, if you're not aware of the NFL, of American football, this year in particular, they didn't make the playoffs, and so there has been so much hyper-criticism around them. But in reality, they have always been a team that's made a lot of noise, that have had a lot of problems. And the second you don't win the big game or get achievements, that's when the criticism comes. Tying this into Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS, and what Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS has done really well with real-life situations, is in the very beginning of this episode, Lightning says to Windy, you lost your temper against Revolver. You can't verse Revolver again. You have to verse Soul Burner. And Lightning is acting as if he did not give into the same anger that Windy gave into against Spectre moments before. Mm-hmm. What is the only difference between Lightning and Windy's duels?
The results.
The results, thank you. That's the only difference. Lightning gives into the same anger, loses himself to the same anger against Spectre, but he wins. So you can't criticize him. Because he won. Windy gives into that same exact anger against Revolver. He loses, and all of a sudden, Windy's a bit of a liability. No, you're not good enough to face Revolver. You can't give into your anger. And the amount of hypocriticism, that's definitely not a word, but hypocriticism, is that a word? Hypocrisy, that's the word. The amount of hypocrisy that Lightning shows in this episode is great because it demonstrates what human beings do all the time. We don't care about the journey to get to the end result. All we care about is the end result, especially when it comes to sports and when you're talking about things from a result-driven perspective.
Absolutely.
So, loved how this episode very early on kind of tackled that, where Lightning gave into the same anger, but he gets off scot-free because he wins the duel. So loved that perspective from the episode. I didn't touch on that at all in the review, but that's just kind of what I wanted to start on and put that into perspective. But what do you think about the duel? What do you think about the episode?
I'd say overall, the duel itself hasn't been anything like spectacular. Like the Spectre Lightning duel was like phenomenal.
You haven't enjoyed the dialogue?
And it's all right.
Yeah,
like,
I love the dialogue.
It's not like it's not crazy, but I feel like it's a lot of both of them trying to hold it together, and someone's gonna just kind of go wild. Like
that's
I guess
true.
The person that loses is probably gonna go insane either way.
Yeah.
And I think that Flame is kind of like the mediator, and he's sitting there and he's like, Soulburner, like chill, because if you get too hot, you're gonna lose, and he knows it.
Right.
So like I think that's really what I've gotten from the duel so far is that it's a matter of who can keep their composure. Like there's a lot of each side. Like Soulburner says something, and then Wendy's getting all fired up, and he says something, and Soulburner's getting all fired up. And I think that it's all going to come down to who holds their composure in the end, which the way it looks for me, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It goes back and forth.
Yeah, it's like a ping pong match.
Even after a full episode of the duel, this is still a very hard to call duel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very hard to call.
I agree.
I thought the episode was okay. When I watched, especially for Vrains, when I watch these episodes, I look for one of two things: either a very captivating duel or a very plot-heavy episode. This really, right now, didn't give me much of either. The dialogue was great. You're right about that, but I feel like I didn't get very much of either a very captivating duel or very much plot, other than the fact that maybe what happened to Wendy's partner was worse than we thought, but. Other than that, I didn't get too much out of it.
See, I'm surprised because I love this episode. I really did. Now, I wonder if it could be the hangover from the last duel that you guys are experiencing.
I think so, but
I think it's
because that duel was so good.
I think, I think it definitely plays a role, but I think in comparison with any of the episodes that I really liked prior, I think it just doesn't. It pales in comparison to me.
Fair.
But not greatly. It was still interesting. I still enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I mean,
and I like the dynamic between Wendy and Flame, Wendy and Soulburn. I think right now as they're egging each other on, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another big scene from this episode. Well, actually, before I get into that, I do want to give a quick shout out to all you beautiful people in the comment section and that do comment on my videos. Going into this duel, most people in the community picked Wendy, I would say, which kind of surprised me. I thought I was kind of making an unpopular pick there.
Yeah.
After this episode, and based on the preview especially, where it shows Soulburner and Flame being very triumphant, a lot of people in the community have flopped and changed their prediction, and I kind of have too a little bit, whereas now it looks more like Soulburner is going to win.
Because Wendy keeps losing is cool.
That's what it is, and the preview just made it seem like they both were...
I'm getting a lot of people saying Blue Maiden.
Blue Maiden. Okay. Well, she is dueling in Bowman most likely, right? That was also brought up.
They pretty much just said that.
Yeah, they said it.
Maiden,
That Blue Maiden versus Bowman. And the first podcast that we did, which was last week, I had said before that was even mentioned, we went through our predictions, and I had said Blue Maiden will 100% duel Bowman. I said that to you before the camera even started rolling.
You did.
I was so confident about that. That to me was so obvious. So I was kind of surprised when people didn't see it coming, but it just made the most sense. So Blue Maiden will do duel Bowman. A lot of people are saying she's going to win.
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, girl.
Also, Soulburner was compared to the Patriots during your whole
Oh wait! Wow.
your whole football rant.
That's true.
How no one wants to see them win,
Well,
but they're gonna win
That's
anyway.
rough. Hey, you're gonna insult this guy. He's a big Soulburner.
That was Chris Swan that said that.
Oh, Chris.
since we're touching upon the football thing
amazing.
again, I need to call you out because my cousin's husband plays for the Steelers, so I can't take any trash.
Your cousin's
talking.
husband. What position?
I don't remember. He's Artie
It's
Burns.
actually
I
Christian
know.
Villanueva.
Artie Burns.
He's a defensive back.
He's a
Artie
defensive
Burns.
back.
That's
yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Well,
sorry.
he knocked her up. When
don't say that. What do you? We don't need to know your family's personal business.
We need to know the lore, Dylan.
the lower.
What if your
Bouldergeist
cousin
said.
Oh my god.
I haven't spoken
dude.
to my cousin in like 3 years. So.
Well, that explains a lot.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I honestly don't care.
Does that make Yusaku the Eagles? Someone asked that.
Oh, well, no, because Yusaku hasn't beaten Soulburner, so no.
No.
Look, anyway, enough with the football analogy. The other big part of this episode was the Lost Incident moment.
Sure.
With the kid, where we actually see a design from him, and I think what they did was 10 times more effed up than what was initially implied.
Sure,
Yes.
no,
Where we
absolutely.
see the vision when Wendy duels Revolver of the car crashing into the building, and we assume,
He was in a car.
he was in the car,
Like
similar to
everybody
Blood
else.
Shepherd, like everyone else.
Everyone else.
He was in the car, and it didn't do a building. All right, that sucks. I mean, it's dark, but it's not like, crazy dark.
Right.
To me, him being a pedestrian on the street, walking and getting crushed by a car into a building, which was implied heavily,
It is implied heavily.
by this
It is
episode. Of course,
implied
it's not
heavily.
confirmed. Is 10 times worse.
Yeah.
I mean, what were your initial thoughts when you saw that scene?
I mean, I don't disagree with you at all because
Yeah.
I think you had said to me before I even watched it. You were like,
You kind of forewarned us, and I
yeah,
feel
you were
that
like,
ruined- I'm
sorry.
sorry.
well,
It's okay.
he was just like, wow, like what Wendy
I
did
was
is a
stunned.
lot worse than I thought, and I was just like, well, I can't wait to see what happens because I hadn't watched it yet. I think I watched it that day. And then, I mean, I agree 100%. You see him like, oh, see you guys later, walks across the street, and then I'm like, wait. And they show like the car hitting the building. I'm like,
They zoom up
But
to the
he-
blood moon and the
I was
sky.
like, but he
yeah.
wasn't
That
in the
was
car.
that
so
implication
that's-
there was what made it even darker.
Yeah.
The blood moon. I was
Yeah.
like, wow. what-
And the fact that right before that scene is showed, Wendy is just like, yeah, it looked like he was starting to gain a little bit of hope.
Yeah,
and
super-
love for life.
yeah.
And then Wendy's face just gets diabolical and just,
Yeah.
what the flip,
Well, when he
dude?
said that, he's like, yeah, maybe he was getting a little bit of hope. It's like,
Jesus
oh, all right.
Christ. So now, I mean, the question has to be asked, and I want to just, I guess you guys in the chat write yes or no, and I want you to tell me
Yeah.
what's more of. Do you guys think that we will see, do you think he's dead? Do you think Wendy's victim or Wendy's partner is dead and that we will not see him in Vrains? Yes or no? Or do you think, no, we will see him in Vrains? Or yes, he's dead, we're not going to see him?
Can I answer that question?
You absolutely.
All right. So I think he's not dead.
Okay.
And my reasoning why is because they asked, how did you feel after you after you did that to him? And he said, I didn't feel anything. But we saw when Earth got taken apart, basically, how him and Spectre both, like, he was feeling pain and Spectre felt something from that.
That's a great point.
So I think that even if something happened to him catastrophic, he could even be in a coma for all we know. But I don't think
Similar
he's...
to Miyu.
Well,
I just don't think he's dead.
That's a great point.
that's a
We have a very mixed.
yeah.
Very
That's
mixed.
good.
Very mixed.
Yeah,
There's
very-
a lot of yeses, a lot of
That's
nos.
what I
A couple
figured.
people saying he's in a coma,
Coma, I could see.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar to Miyu.
Right.
Figured it would be mixed.
but
yeah.
it is very, very
Yeah,
mixed.
no,
Like, it is
I-
almost dead even.
Yeah, no, and I figured it would be because that's such a tough question to answer. It's such a tough question.
just-
That's
I
funny
sort
that-
of wanna-
No, but I hope they kill him. That's
Wow.
what I just read.
Wow.
Christ.
I want to say I don't necessarily agree with Caliber said because of this. So Spectre feels something when something happens to Earth. It doesn't. There's nothing that's been shown to us that proves it necessarily works the other way.
Oh, you're saying it might not work vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And regardless of that I think if it does, I think it'd be based on their connection. It's clear that Wendy,
Well, Spectre and Earth had no connection though.
Well, yes. True. That's a good point.
And
They had
every
nothing.
AI
But still.
felt Earth's death too.
Right.
But the AI are gonna feel the deaths amongst each other regardless.
I don't know. I feel like they're all connected in that way.
Yeah.
I don't think
Every
it
single
necessarily
one.
works the other way.
It might not
I think,
work,
I
though.
think Wendy lacks empathy entirely.
Well, I agree with that.
So I think.
But I thought Spectre did too, after what he did to freaking Blue Angel in
That's
that
true.
one duel.
That's true.
She just face planted into
That's
the
true.
cement and he started laughing maniacally.
Oh my God.
Like, he's not a character.
That's true, but he's also
He's not.
he is also linked based on the lost incident to Earth. But yeah, again, to my prior point that
So you just don't think it necessarily works the other way around?
I don't think it necessarily works the other way around.
That's fair, and there's no proof that it does.
As far as
but that is a good point.
thinking he's alive or not, I sort of hope he isn't.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's sort of cliche. Like everyone's like near death, surprise, they're actually alive, or in a coma, or like it's overdone.
Yeah,
just like
it
leave
is
him dead.
shonen though, and it is shonen. And shonen usually.
But like,
does
just
that.
let him be dead. Let it move on. Just show how messed up Wendy is, and get
You know,
past it.
I agree with you, and I know that's kind of a darker route to go, and I'm not sure they'll go that route, even though we've seen Dr. Kogami die, so we've seen characters
exactly,
die in the show.
But like, Miyu's already in a coma.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. Miyu, yeah, and I want her to get some attention and focus, and so...
And like, Blood Shepherd was in an accident, survived. Like, we've seen a lot of like people
but
in
his-
accidents.
Soulburner's
survived.
parents didn't, though.
Soulburner's parents did.
Now, Soulburner's parents, I should be clear. It was stated that they were in an accident. I've always assumed it was a car accident.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, because that's the leading cause of
didn't show
accidental
it?
death. They didn't show it, and they didn't specifically say car accident. It's just, I think, a safe to assume thing.
Yeah.
But that's the only death that was not necessarily a car accident, even though myself and others just kind of assume it.
Yeah.
And
'Cause that's
Yusaku's parents.
Yusaku's parents, we know nothing about.
don't even
her.
know if they
No, we don't
exist.
know if they exist. That crack theory that Queen is
his mom.
Imagine, yeah,
It's pretty, like, the hair means nothing.
but
at this
imagine
point.
if he loses, like, this is how you end the season. He loses his Ignis, something horrible happens to Jin, something horrible happens to Soulburner and Shoichi, and he has nothing left. And Queen comes into the picture and says something to him, and he turns around and just goes, "Mom," and then that's how the season ends.
That'd be a great way to end
That
the
would
season.
be incredible. And then she's gonna start like
And then
making him this anti-hero
The
character.
final arc would be insane. in
Yeah,
that case.
it would be awesome if that was a plot twist.
Yeah.
And then he'd have to realize that his mom is, a horrible woman.
So
Yeah.
either like
Comical
join, like
villain. That'd be great.
reconnect with her and join her, or like fight her off.
Or
Against
like, maybe that's when you can see his relationship with Revolver blossom a little bit, because who else does he have to turn to?
No one.
And Revolver, if he loses Spectre, which he already did, and has no one else to turn to either, there's a lot of routes they could go. But that's what I have, and that's what I have to praise over and over about this arc so far. We have about 8-9 episodes left until the opening changes, until the season ends, and I have no idea how it's going to play
No
out.
idea.
There are so many paths, and this is something that the first season was not good at doing.
No.
Because the first season was so linear, we knew the final matchup had to be Playmaker Revolver,
Yeah.
so there were no wild card duels. When Go dueled Revolver, we knew Revolver was going to win. Anytime Playmaker dueled when he dueled Spectre, we knew Playmaker was going to win. The only wild card was Blue Angel versus Spectre. That was the only duel that we didn't really know what
Right.
was going to happen, because we knew those two characters weren't involved in the final duel,
Yeah.
because we knew it was going to be Playmaker Revolver. So the first arc didn't do a great job of that. This arc, so unpredictable. There's so many routes it can go.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
excited.
It's very
And again, we should get news February 17th, for those of you keeping track at home like I am. I mean, I'm psycho when it comes to that stuff. February 17th, 2018 is when we got news on Opening 2, Soulburner's character design, Bowman, Haru. Crazy, it's almost been a year since all those characters were first revealed to us. So I would say maybe we're a week and a half away from news regarding a new opening, maybe some new character designs, and a little summary for the next season. So something to look forward to if you're into the summary, spoilery side of things. Anything going on in the chat? Sorry, just kind of put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of stuff I don't understand.
That's fair. That's fair.
I see Naoki's
Try
name
your best at
popping up a
pronouncing
lot.
them.
Well, Naoki's name should be popping up a lot, because my new theory is coming out next week. He's the main antagonist of Yugioh VRAINS.
Now,
know
a lot
what?
of people
And-
are saying that you're the main antagonist.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I've seen that pop
That's
up
a
a
good
few
one.
times.
I will say this regarding me. I hope in Yu-Gi-Oh! That there is never a character named Dylan. Because
Game over.
well,
game
it's
over.
not only is it game over, but I really don't like saying my name for whatever reason.
I get that. So you just want to keep saying the name.
I just don't want to
Just
keep saying
change your
the
name.
Especially like if a major character was named Dylan. Oh, that'd be so cringe, dude. I just don't like saying my name. I
get
really
it.
don't
That's
like
fair.
saying
I
my
get it.
name. So I'm very blessed that there have been no Dylans, at least in the sub. There might have been maybe a dub name change, even though I don't think there has been. I don't think there's been any Dylans in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I'm happy about that, and hopefully it stays that way.
We'll see.
Imagine if they like mimicked me like over in Japan
Wow,
and made
that'd be
like
kinda
some
dope.
goofy like German.
You know what you would be? You would be one of the people that does the films. You know, the frog and the
Yeah,
bird.
like
You would
the,
be one of them.
the stupid
Wow.
stunt videos for like social.
Wow, they get
I'm
hate
just
you
gonna, I'm
so
just gonna
much.
send a petition
Please don't.
signed.
I don't think they like my channel.
Well, that'd be why. That'd be why they do it. It's like, hey, look at
That's
this.
what I mean. That's
It's
what I
like-
mean. It's possible.
Yeah.
That'd be so
They
funny.
show the news that someone that looks exactly like Dylan on there.
Like,
That'd
what
be so
the?
funny. But
That's
yeah,
funny,
I guess regarding this episode, last thing to say. I mean, we can't change predictions. All three of us are locked in
Oh,
one day.
yeah.
But would you change your prediction if you could? You won't be allowed to for the game, but would you change your prediction if you could?
No. Wow.
You both think Wendy's going to win. So
I
here's
do.
my theory. We know that the next duel is going to be, because it was said to us, Blue Maiden versus Bowman.
Yep.
Whoever wins this duel will directly implicate who wins that duel, in my opinion. If Soulburner wins this duel, Blue Maiden will win. They're going to double down on Lightning losing his allies. If Soulburner loses this duel and Windy wins, Blue Maiden will lose. Blue Maiden will win or lose based on whether Soulburner wins
Well,
or
I
loses.
think
in my
that's
opinion.
why. I think that's why Wendy's going to win. Because I think Bowman's going to win.
Well, I do
I think Bowman needs to win.
see, but
All right,
when-
so-
if Blue Maiden wins, it would be, and I will say this confidently, the greatest win a girl Yu-Gi-Oh character has ever gotten in Yu-Gi-Oh.
I agree. I think
and this is someone who's watched Yu-Gi-Oh for
I know,
15
I
years.
know.
I say that full
I
confidently.
think Aoi needs a win. Yes.
She's not going to get it.
I think to build up Bowman in the way they have as this vessel for the Divine Ignis and have him lose would make it all for naught.
Yeah, that's fair. But then it shows Lightning already has this god complex about him, and it would give Lightning some development, because imagine the feeling he would have that everyone around him failed, and he feels like he's the only one that can get things done.
point.
And Bowman maybe doesn't need to win duels, he just needs to obtain all the Ignis, and if that's
true.
through Lightning being able to do that,
That's a good point. I guess I'm assuming that his loss would mean his death.
his
That's-
death. Which
that's
actually,
true.
I think in Mirror Link VRAINS it does. I think in Mirroring Vrains it does. So it probably would mean his death. So yeah, in that regard, that's a tougher duel to call than people think.
Yeah.
And I've seen people very split on that. I think the community as a whole is rooting mostly for Blue Maiden.
Of course.
But I think from a realistic point of view, people are probably leaning Bowman like 60-40,
I think
from my understanding. And I'm, at the moment, kind of leaning Bowman, but we're going to see what happens after this duel.
There's a lot of people now saying Bowman.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And a lot of people saying Bowman losing doesn't make any sense.
No, I agree with that.
My people.
Unless, again, they just want to blow this season up. Because otherwise, there's only... That's what I mean. This season is so unpredictable because of the amount of time that's left. There's only 8 episodes left. 97, 98, it's probably going to switch. And that's...
Ask a stupid question?
Yeah.
Do we only know that because of... historically, that's how Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, usually beginning of April is new season.
Could hypothetically it go longer?
It could hypothetically go longer. Usually it won't because the opening's probably going to change. It would break a lot of traditions.
Maybe a couple episodes though. It could go two more than.
But even if it goes 10 episodes,
that's not enough time to build up.
There's a lot. There's a long. It's
well,
not,
there's a
because
lot
remember,
of stuff going on.
People have made up a great point about Earth and Earth being in Soul Tech's possession and in Go's possession. They need Earth to create the Divine Ignis.
Yeah. So
how do you get Earth involved and get Bowman to become this divine vessel?
There's too much to be
episodes?
done. There's too much.
There's way too much to be done, in my opinion. So that's why it just makes it very fascinating how they are going to conclude.
I mean,
things.
I guess.
I don't think it's going to be concluded. By the way, I think.
Hold on, we have a donation from Jordan Melissa 96, a $2 donation.
Is that
Jordan?
Jordan, thank you. It's our normal moderator. Thank you, Jordan. We all miss you.
Thank you,
We all
Jordan.
miss you. Much love, Jordan. Thank you. I never knew her middle name was Melissa. Jordan Melissa. That's nice. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you so much.
Now we all know.
Thank you. I owe you a lunch, I guess.
2 items off the dollar menu at McDonald's.
That's true. That's true.
favorite
Thank you sincerely, Jordan. Appreciate it. Yeah, there's a lot that it can go.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. But Bowman losing doesn't really make that much sense.
It doesn't. Just to not necessarily discount anyone's idea, but I guess the Earth thing, now that he's within Go, it does make it simple. In one fell swoop, like, Lightning could get a hold of Go and...
That's true, but you'd imagine that Soul Tech has him probably in locked up quarters and a close eye on him. And if any organization is going to have anti-Ignis technology, it's Soul Tech.
True.
So that would kind of be silly.
It would be a little silly.
We'll see. It's Yu-Gi-Oh!
So it could go anyway, and that's what makes it great. Yeah.
That is what makes it great. I love when people comment like, well, I have no idea what's going to happen, or I don't know who's going to win that duel. I feel the same way about it. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
That is incredible. Those are the kind of duels we want to see.
Absolutely.
And these are the kind of finales that we want to see.
Which
and
is
hopefully it doesn't let us down.
Sort of why I liked coming out of this 88, because like even though I gave my thoughts, I didn't love it. I think leading into this next episode, I feel really good about it.
Yes.
So that's a good sign. It really set the stage for the next episode. I mean the next several, but specifically the next one. So I feel good about that.
We can end on a very high octane note.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good too because you get more into the back and forth. Because when it's something like just say Playmaker versus anybody else that's not a main villain, you're like, all right, well, Playmaker's probably going to win this one.
Yeah, right.
So like it's not that I don't enjoy the duel, it's just that in the back of your mind you're like, I know what the outcome's probably going to be. Like it's like 90%.
Yeah.
But in a duel like this, it's like this could really go either way because they can still have basically the same storyline afterward, no matter which one of them, wins or loses. Which is the same thing with the Blue Maiden and the Bowman one, which is like, it still all comes down to...
We have another donation.
Oh, yeah?
Underdog Chris, $2.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much.
I didn't think I'd make it to these. Sup, everyone.
What's up,
Thank you, Chris. We're glad you made it then. And for those of you that do not make... I guess everyone watching made it. But for those of you that don't make it...
Well, they're rewatching later.
Right, or just don't make it a week for whatever reason. This will always be uploaded, video format, Saturday night. And the audio will usually be up on SoundCloud, trying to get it on iTunes. So it'll be linked in the description, though, if you just want to lock your phone and listen to it in a car ride. You don't have to have the YouTube app open.
Do you already have it on SoundCloud?
I made a SoundCloud. I have the first one on SoundCloud, yeah. So just a more convenient way to listen to it if you're on the go.
Sure.
But yeah, so even if you don't make the stream, still a chance to watch it. Sorry, I don't know why I keep pointing to you.
DJ. And DJ, what do you
Well,
think?
we are about 20 minutes through, so there's also an email. You'll see it in the comment section, or not the comment section, the description, dylandappyyf@gmail.com. And if you want to send in questions, non-Yu-Gi-Oh questions are always appreciated as well. That's
so
perfect,
I can actually say something.
Sure, yeah, you can. So, yeah, give your thoughts, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, what are some questions?
So I've been writing some questions down as I see them. So Daddy donated $2.
Thank
you,
you, Dad.
son. Love you.
Wow.
I never thought I'd say this in my life, but thank you, Daddy. Oh, God. Thank you so much, Daddy. I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Someone's a genius.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, some of the questions I've been seeing that have passed through.
Yeah.
Victor earlier asked, "What do you think the secret that Lightning got was?" I don't know what that means, but that was
The secret
question.
that Lightning got. Is he implying...
Well, remember how Spectre kept asking Lightning what his secret was?
Yes, that's what he must be
Yes.
implying, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but I have a feeling it has to do with I. And maybe his insecurities towards I, the Dark Ignis.
Sure.
Because he's already shown some insecurities towards
We have
I.
another donation. Nicholas Horton.
Nicholas.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Playmaker versus Kusanagi will be a game changer.
Yes. Yeah, it absolutely will be. Thank you so much, Nicholas. Appreciate it. That duel will be something. But yeah, go on, dude.
No,
Oh, well, you were speaking. I was
You were
speaking.
Yeah, you were speaking.
Jesus Christ, I'm losing my mind. Yeah, that'll be a great duel.
To be fair, you did just wake up. No, you were speaking about the Lightning and I insecurities.
Yes. So Lightning, yeah, I think he's very insecure towards I. That might be his secret, that he acts like this god leader of the Ignis, but deep down he knows that he is not the strongest Ignis, and he does not. And even Bowman's kind of alluded to that, where Lightning knows you have something that he doesn't, which is intuition,
Right.
or it was maybe not intuition.
Instinct, I think.
Instinct.
Yeah, maybe
yes.
it was.
And I think that really bothers Lightning. So I think the secret is the contempt and the jealousy and the envy and the inferiority that he has towards I. That's what I actually
Wow.
believe it is.
I think he knows that he's not, like you said, like he knows he's not the strongest.
He's not
but
the alpha.
I don't think I knows it that he is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it definitely doesn't.
So basically, what he's saying is like he can't be like, well, you know, yeah, I'm not the strongest one. That's why we need I over here too. Like, so that's why he's acting like I'm almighty. Like everyone bow down. So yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
At this point, just ask questions, ladies and
So
gents.
MVP Tomahawk asks,
Oh.
"What is your dream Vrains duel?"
Oh.
Oof. So, one that has not happened yet, I'm assuming. Well, at this point, there's no rematch that I'd like to see. My dream Vrains duel.
I have one.
You go.
My dream Vrains duel would be Jin versus Kusanagi.
Oh. So, Jin being controlled by lightning or free?
Jin free, but still disagreeing with
Okay.
Kusanagi.
Okay.
So there's a feud between brothers, and he's trying to bring him back to, like, Kusanagi's trying to bring him back to reality, and he just doesn't want any part of it. And they go back and forth, and then one of them has to end the other.
That's a good one.
I think that would be an awesome
messed
duel.
up.
It would be messed up, but like
That'd be
that's
a
a very
good duel.
dark twist,
Yeah.
but it would be awesome.
That's a good
A
duel.
lot riding on it.
My dream duel. What's yours?
Oh man.
Um,
I don't know. You come back. To me.
I guess I keep thinking like Blue Maiden versus Miyu. I don't know why. I mean, that's mainly because I'm worried that Miyu is not going to do anything.
It seems that way. Seems that
Again,
way.
there's still like 50 episodes, but knowing, I think of like Rory and Rin, for those of you that watched Dark 5, where they did stuff, but like non-brainwash. They had like no interactions with anyone and then at the end they were pretty much killed off or morphed into use. Sorry, I don't want to talk about Arc 5, but I do believe that Miyu will have attention, but I'd love to see a Miyu versus Blue Maiden duel. I think that'd be a good duel. I'd also like to see a Soulburner versus Playmaker duel, like a bro duel, or maybe Soulburner disagrees with Playmaker and does play the role of antagonist because Playmaker's gotten very close to Revolver. I think that would be cool. Blue Maiden versus Spectre rematch, that is a rematch I would love, because I think if we get that rematch, that almost guarantees Blue Maiden to beat her personal demons, a guy that has tormented her the entire show, finally get over her personal demons, and get a massive late game win against Spectre. So I would love to see that as well.
That one I agree with heavily. Like, I
And
think
Spectre's
she
a
needs
joy
that.
to watch.
Yeah,
So that'd be a
any
great
duel
result.
that Spectre's
Even
been
in,
I've
even in
enjoyed.
losses, it's
even
great.
in
Yeah.
losses. So like I think the Blue Maiden, and because especially now she's this like she's already gone through 2 transformations
Yeah.
since her last duel with Spectre. So this would show growth in her character facing now an old demon, and I think it would really it would do great. Do great for things for her character.
Absolutely. And moreover, on that point, I know a lot of people will say, well, Spectre, why would he go after her? She has an Ignis. She's holding Aqua.
Yeah.
And the Knight's main goal is still to destroy the Ignis. Right now, they're just teaming up to defeat a bigger evil in their eyes.
Yeah.
So after this gets solved, Revolver and Spectre are going to go right against Playmaker and Blue Maiden in the group, most likely. Unless their ideals completely change.
Which it's
Maybe
possible, depending on the outcome of this arc.
I don't feel like their ideals are wavering. I just feel like they know this is a bigger threat to humanity rather than, I and Flame and the good Ignis. But even after this ends, there's no evidence that leads me, at least at this point, to believe that they're going to let the Ignis be the Ignis. And live in harmony. They'll get to that point eventually.
That's fair.
But I think they're going to have to fight again at some point down the road.
I think even on top of that, regardless of whether whose ideals change or what, we know that the Ignis, Lightning and Windy, currently have possession of Spectre to begin with.
That's a very good point.
So that even
and they probably have possession of Blood Shepherd too.
Right. So they could use that. Like Spectre, not really Spectre, could duel. Blue Maiden in that. Aspect, in that aspect. So
Blood Shepherd versus Soul Burner. Blood Shepherd gets the win he deserves. Next question.
Blood Shepherd gets the win I mean, he would have won. We do know
he
that.
would have won. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
We don't know that for a fact, but we know that.
Yep.
So,
come on.
Cat Leho? I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name wrong.
I know who it is, yeah.
Okay.
Cat Lee, yeah.
They asked, what type of deck do you think Kusanagi will use?
A hot dog deck. No, I'm kidding. That's like the generic comment that I keep seeing. It's a good question because he said that he was not a good duelist. He said that to Playmaker.
Yeah.
And that's why he, got help from Playmaker. So it'll be a new archetype. It's probably an archetype we've never heard of, like Tindangles.
I think it's going to be like a very tech type deck.
Like hacking.
Yeah, like it's going to be very, like all the monsters and stuff are going to be like very, they're just going to like computer looking. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like digital.
It's going to be like a tech style.
Kusanagi's deck.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be tech based.
Yeah, I mean, it could be food-based. I think that would be more
that would be funny.
That'd be very mean, but then you couldn't take it serious. Like,
that's the problem. You wouldn't take it seriously.
Like, if it's going to be a legitimate battle...
Maybe it'll be Hydra Drives. Maybe Lightning will just say, you know what, I gave Bowman and Hall this deck, you use it too. And it'll be Hydra Drives. Maybe Lightning will give him a deck. That's possible.
True.
So
the Dark Burger King gets linked,
God,
like summoned.
the king from Burger King, but he's got red eyes.
Red eyes, Burger King.
Oh my god,
that is
dude.
terrifying. Someone meme
that would be terrifying, dude. I wouldn't want to go up against that thing. Jesus Christ!
Instead of like bitten boot, it's like ketchup and mustard.
So Masquerade asked, if there was one duel outcome in Vrains that you could change, which one would you change and why?
Oof, that is a great question. Jeez. Ooh, I mean, one...
That's a very good question.
First one that comes to my mind is...
Spectre and Blue Maiden?
No, Blue Maiden versus Soul Burner. I'd give Blue Maiden the win.
Of course.
Because then she can lose to Bowman and she still had a great arc. There's no question about the arc she had. And Soul Burner isn't all of a sudden this undefeated god, Playmaker 2.0.
Right.
And so I think the community would back away from the criticism of Soul Burner, where, he's not this,
doesn't have plot armor.
undefeated. Yeah, he's not this undefeated character. And then at least as Blue Girl, she got a win, because she was still Blue Girl at that point.
Right.
All Blue Girl did, dueling-wise, was lose to Spectre in one episode.
Yeah.
Via Fusion of Fire, BS, OTK. So, you know what? That's the one that I would definitely change, because that's the one that doesn't really affect the story that much. No matter who wins that duel, it doesn't really change it. Well, actually, you know what? I think Blue Maiden, under her brother's orders, was trying to get Flame. So I think that would maybe have complications there. But you know what? She beats Soul Burner, and Soul Burner uses the logout program right before she gets Flame. And that's it. Yeah. And nothing else in the story changes. They'd still be allies. If the Knights are working with them, they'd still be allies at this point. She'd still have Aqua, and Aqua would obviously change her mind. Or really, it was the scene with Earth being disintegrated that changed her mind about what the Ignis were. Yeah. When she was like, Emma, what are Ignis? You know, and she was like really freaked out because of that. Mm-hmm. That's the one that I think I can change right off the bat. That wouldn't affect any other duels or the overall story. And I think it would give her a big win. And Soul Burner a loss that he should have, because he gets some development that way. And yeah, that's the one I would change.
Agreed.
There's a lot of people in your chat that definitely would have agreed with that, because earlier when we were talking about the Bowman Blue Maiden duel, a lot of people said Blue Maiden deserves a win and like needs a win.
Yeah,
She does need a win.
for
right.
the arc.
Absolutely.
She does.
Yeah,
It's
So
necessary.
like if you go back and you change that and give her that win,
exactly.
then that definitely helps.
And it definitely wouldn't have
Exactly.
affected a single thing.
It wouldn't have affected a single thing.
The relationship would have been the same. You
Yeah.
know, they're still on the same side. And
Soulburner admired her because she
Right.
was someone who fought for to defeat
exactly.
the tower
Yeah.
before.
And he probably had more admiration.
he probably would have had
for
more admiration because he lost to her.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's awesome. But they didn't go that route.
They didn't know,
Of course
unfortunately.
they didn't.
Honestly, we could write a good show. I think.
Really, we could.
I'd like to think.
I feel like that's the generic statement though that a lot of people. I
Yeah.
see that in the
yes,
comments.
but not, like I mean, I think you've got a history long enough to like
yeah, I feel like I
it's not like
You
all
could
right,
contribute to the story.
I could
writing.
contribute.
Yeah.
I definitely could not be the main overarching writer.
No, I mean,
because
that takes
the
more.
show still every show has done things that I was like, whoa, I really like that. Never would have thought
Sure.
to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be too safe, I think, if I was writing a show.
So
Thanks for all the questions, by the way, guys.
Fireman
Appreciate it.
asked, "What do you think the final duel in Vrains will be? What's your prediction for the final duel?"
So the final
Of
duel,
all
just so you
rings-
know, the final duel is usually like a ceremonial. It's usually not antagonist versus
Right,
protagonist.
right.
You had the two Yugis.
Yeah.
You had Yugi versus Judai and GX. Yusei versus Jack, who was the rival,
Right.
kind of turned friend. Zexel, you had Yuma versus Astral. Astral was kind of like the Pharaoh was to Yugi in Zexel. In Arc 5, you had Yuya versus Reiji, which that was protagonist versus rival. But I guess the 5Ds one was too. I think the final fight will be easily Playmaker versus Revolver. That will be the
like
final battle.
in a friendly way. You think?
Maybe not in a friendly way. I don't think the Yuya versus Reiji duel was necessarily in a friendly way, but there weren't any like crazy high stakes
Yeah.
in that duel.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that would be a duel like that. Hey, Revolver happens to lose. He walks away and says like you know it's. You
Yeah.
see him at like the hot dog
Similar
truck.
to how
later.
the first season ends. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it'll end.
I think if it wasn't that, just trying to play off on a different one, I think Playmaker versus I could be the last duel. also.
You know what?
Because
I
they
don't know
traveled,
that-
Yeah,
they
you know
traveled
what?
the
Versus
whole series
Yeah,
together, and then at
yeah.
the end, you know, I
No,
pops
that-
out and goes, "Want to see how I duel?" You know, and then they just go, and it's
That I didn't. You know what? That's
that would
probably
be
a better
fun.
bet.
Is that too close to the Yami?
Well, we did that with Zexel with Yuma and Astral. It was literally like a very similar dynamic.
True.
So that's
like a happy ending
That's what
type
it's gonna
duel.
be. That's
Yeah.
what it's gonna be. Yeah.
It could be a
Y-
feel
It'll
good.
probably be Playmaker versus Revolver. Will probably be the second to last duel. Usually, the second to last duel is like the end all duel,
Right.
where everything gets solved.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what. Not in Arc 5's case, but that's what it'll be.
Sure.
That's what it'll
Cool.
be. In my opinion, I changed my opinion. Good answer. That's.
good answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
Cyber Quasar asks, "Do you think Lightning will become good like Revolver? Become like a good person?"
No,
No.
No, I think he has to die.
Lightning has to die.
you can't redeem
What he's done.
Lightning and Windy, especially Windy.
No.
There's no way you can redeem Windy, and I'm worried that Yu-Gi-Oh will find a way to try to redeem him. There's no way
There's
you
no
can
way.
redeem him.
I would argue as
Maybe you can reprogram them.
Yeah,
and,
I was
like,
gonna say like
reset
take
them.
their data and
Yeah,
reprogram
maybe
them.
something like that'll happen.
I would probably it's irredeemable because even if like amongst themselves, even the Ignis themselves, I would say even though they weren't the ones that did it to him, they were directly responsible for Earth's death, and I think that's like even amongst Ignis, that's
Well, I think. Well, I guess maybe the Ignis wouldn't care much about this, but
Lightning still destroyed the Cyberse world.
exactly
Lightning
that's what I
destroyed-
mean.
By the way,
That's what I mean.
Someone
like,
brought up a great point in the comments of when I went over the 89 to 92 summaries. The monster that destroyed the Cyberse world and the monster that was like joking around when they first visited Windy, when they thought that like that monster was where Windy was, when he
Right.
was just playing a prank on them. We have not seen that monster yet in a duel.
No.
That monster probably will show up in a duel at some point, which
Of
hopefully
course.
it does, which will be very cool. No idea what that huge ogre-looking monster was.
Yeah.
Lightning destroyed the Cyberse, tried to enslave humanity, but I mean, Windy drove a car into a 15-year-old
he's
kid on the
directly responsible for murder.
Yeah, so like how can you redeem him? You
He's
can't redeem
irredeemable.
him.
No, irredeemable.
Even in Zexel, I think of Vector, and Vector was really messed up, but you can trace it back to Don Thousand influencing him, and you know the childhood that obviously he had. Well, that was again because of Don Thousand. So yeah, he kind of got a very BS redemption at the very end in the last scene of Zexel, but like that was at least a little understandable. What?
I have no idea.
No, I know you guys. Yeah, I know you guys. Yeah, don't know what I'm talking about, but most people. in
Yeah,
the
most people
comments will.
do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
But you can't redeem him unless you claim that there was a higher being manipulating Lightning and Windy, which I pray they don't go that route. That would be so
Yeah,
dumb.
No.
So I
It's
think
no.
irredeemable, and there's irredeemable characters. Jean-Michel Raget, he got sucked into that void. He never got redeemed. Which
Is that from like a French film?
Arc
or-
5?
Oh. We're talking like
Film
foreign
show.
films.
Next question.
So Dennis asks, while we're lightning hating right now,
All right, good.
what do you think the relationship between Jin and Lightning will be after the arc?
None.
Yeah.
I think Lightning will be gone and Jin will be freed, but kind of have no idea what's going on. I'm just being honest. Like I feel like right now
That
his
poor son of a-
consciousness
yeah.
is like taken. Like he doesn't really know what's going
Poor
on.
Kid, yeah. I don't think they'll have any sort of relationship.
Although he could be dark and twisted in the head now from
He
it.
could be.
so,
Yeah, maybe Lightning has groomed him to a point where like he believes in these ideals that the Ignis have.
like his consciousness could be what Lightning is.
Yeah.
So realistically, Jin could be the evil one the whole time.
That's a
That's a
theory.
theory.
That is a theory.
And if that's the case, Jin comes out and bang, him and Kusanagi could go at it, and then I could have my dream duel.
Sure.
That-
For him and Playmaker. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool. 2 lost incident. We have yet to see, not including Spectre. Well, so I can't really say that because Spectre's a big part. 2
Yeah,
lost
it's a-
incident victims.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because yeah.
Spectre versus Playmaker. We've only seen it once though.
Yeah.
And that should be a dynamic that we see more.
Right, absolutely.
Spectre threatens Soulburner, so that'd be cool. If we saw that duel, even though we know Soulburner would win, but
Yeah, I kind of like, even though it is a bit of a crack theory, I think Jin, it would be cool for Jin's character if you actually were evil, because otherwise, not to be too hard on him, he's been pathetic otherwise.
well, come on.
He's not even a character
But you-
right now, to
but
be
you-
honest.
but you can't blame him. For
No,
that.
you can't. Like, no. Other than like, you obviously can't blame him for being like, in the psych ward or whatever that was. There, But then he's like sitting at this table, all like sad, like not sad, but like.
Well, he's scarred. He's tormented from what happened to him when he was younger. Everyone
Yeah.
deals with it differently. In fact, I think it's ironic that the person who had the best outlook on life, seemingly after the Lost Incident, was Wendy's kid, was Wendy's partner.
That is,
and
a-
they,
yeah,
they
nice.
kill him off.
Yeah, yeah. Which
And
well, I think it's.
He was hanging out with friends, smiling. I mean, he smiled more in that flashback than
Than
we've seen.
Yusaku.
We've seen Yusaku smile the whole show.
Yeah, I
in
agree.
88 episodes.
Yeah,
the kid smiled more in the flashback.
Yep.
And he's hanging out with more friends than Yusaku has had the entire show.
Yeah.
And what do they
Total,
do?
yeah.
They just throw a car into him.
That's-
Jesus Christ.
That's. I mean, it's good for the show.
It's great for the show. Yeah. I mean, it really shows that this is not a fun universe. It's
Yeah.
not. And that's why, if you like the more lighthearted elements in a Yu-Gi-Oh,
It's not.
which there are people,
Yeah.
it's just not for you.
Yeah.
It's
Even
just
though
not.
there is comedic aspect. As
Oh, there's
anything,
comedic aspects,
Comedic
but the
relief,
overall
yeah.
tone,
No, it's
in,
not.
in no episodes has the overall tone been lighthearted. Even early on, when like Playmaker dueled Blue Angel,
Yep.
which was like the 6th and 7th episodes, I believe. Blue Angel was like, I remember the end of that duel where she went insane because of
Right.
the virus that was in her. Like there's been no lighthearted.
Wasn't there
elements.
a episode that followed Brave Max though?
Brave Max versus the Knight of Hanoi. That was
the best,
That
yeah.
was that, and that's why people love that episode because it was such a change of tone and pace. But other than
bad
that,
head.
episode,
Other than that,
and
I
maybe
know,
him
I'm being-
versus Emma, maybe
I'm
him,
being contrarian,
him
I
versus
get it.
Ghost
Yes,
Girl. But
not
2
for-
episodes out of 88. This again, if you like more lighthearted elements, which is excellent. Arc 5, to be fair, did the lighthearted stuff pretty well. Vrains is not for you. It's just not, and that's okay. We all look for different things in media. Nothing wrong with that.
So Jordan actually asked us a question.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
She asked, if you were a chair, which Vrains character would you let sit on?
Demonetized immediately. Oh.
She did not ask that.
100%, that's exactly what she asked.
Oh.
Well, you have to answer. It's your girlfriend, dude.
Akira. I mean, I'm a Akira fan since day one.
To sit on me?
We all know
If you
Whoever-
were a chair.
Whoever the lightest person is.
Oh, that's a...
Owie,
very
probably?
scientific
He's going. He's
answer.
going. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He just wanted an excuse to seem like a gentleman and say, "Oh, Howie, probably." Yeah, you're an asshole.
I'm a chair.
whatever character is under the age of 15.
Whichever character is gonna hurt me the least by sitting on top of me would be the person I would want to sit on top of me. All right, you want me to say go and get squished?
No, I mean obviously, I mean if you're into that, you're into
Well,
that.
so
but,
while we're on the topic, are we saying characters that are like juniors in high school about?
Excuse me, what?
What? Anyway, Deej, next question.
Well, Dylan hasn't given his answer.
He
yet, so.
doesn't have one. Just-
I'll agree with Cal, bro. Go.
So, Underdog asked, do you think Akira will get his hands dirty and duel again? Or
I-
she?
I
don't
hope
know
so.
if
Akira's a he.
Okay.
I hope so, Underdog. I mean, I love the guy.
He's great.
He's great, but we don't see enough of him.
Someone commented, FBI open up.
His voice actor is amazing, too. Barrett Letty, such a good guy. There's so many English dub voice actors that are great. Sam Black as Kusanagi, Daniel J. Edwards, who wanted to have a word with you after what you said about
Go.
That dude, I've studied a lot. That
I
guy
know.
is ripped.
My motto of "Go's gotta go" isn't sticking with him
Go's
too
gotta
well.
go, yeah. a lot of great voice actors, man. So hopefully they get more spotlight, more duels, more action.
Well, I think there's still that whole Soltech aspect of the show that
there is.
there right now.
There is, and it will
so
be.
He's got to come back in and maybe come back in pretty strong. You know, where I mean, I kind of think he's sort of flip flopping to the point where he might leave Soltech and be part of the team against them.
Oh, I think so.
So like,
think
I
that's
feel
already
like that's
happening.
where he's going. Nice shot.
Thank you.
Finger guns to the camera. But I think that I really do think that he'll be back into the thick of things. Like I think he'll end up leaving Soltech, and that's where it'll really, it'll pick up. For him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or something happens to Blue Maiden,
Which
they like to do stuff to the women in Yu-Gi-Oh. So
They do.
she could disappear, and
They
he would
do.
have to bring her back.
Yeah,
So it would
they
make a
do.
lot of sense.
Soltech, such an X factor. Remember, he knows who Miyu is. He remembers. I'm sure he remembers Miyu from the young when they were younger. Because I'm pretty sure he knows what Aoi did. That she kind of like sacrificed her innocence. That sounded really wrong. But you know what I meant.
I know what you meant. Yeah.
Sacrificed. Said I'm guilty. I was the one who dropped the ring in the suit,
Right.
even though it was the Miyu.
Yeah.
So he knows that she did that, and he praised her for it.
Absolutely.
So he'll remember Miyu. So you could bring him into that plot line if you wanted to. And
Yeah, I think.
yeah, remember, I mean, I just wish there were more moments to this, man. There were so many good moments early in the show that were just more like slice of life-ish. And what I mean by that is, and they've gone away from that completely.
I know, which
It's been
I would like
so
more of that.
absent in season
Absolutely.
2. You probably remember the scene I'm talking about where Aoi's in the coma and Akira comes out of the room and Yusaku goes into the hospital and Akira's like, are you Aoi's, like, insinuating that
Boyfriend, yeah.
that Yusaku's Aoi's boyfriend. He's like, no, I'm just her classmate.
Right, yeah, they sort of.
And then remember, Go was in the hospital. And remember, Go, like, looked at Yusaku. And
There's
then
a
he
flash-
said in Gnome that if he lost, he was going to reveal who Playmaker was. Go might know who Yusaku... I don't think he does. I think it would have been. He
It's
might know who
possible.
Playmaker is.
It's possible.
But, like, there were so many scenes like that outside of Link Vrains. And
I think we need more
they've
outside
gone
of-
all in.
They're
with
trapped
Link
right
Vrains.
now
I mean,
in
to
Link
be
Vrains,
fair,
They're
so-
trapped right now, but you know what? To be even more fair, when Soltech is involved, Soltech is in the outside world, so we might see more
might see
outside
it,
world.
Yeah, that could be
elements.
a big switch for the show itself.
Have an episode where they're in school, where they're in like a class. Where a new kid transfers in, they go to the beach or something like that.
Well, they did do a lot of stuff originally with the class,
Yeah.
and they had it where like he kind of had to run out of class.
We have another donation from Jordan of $2
Thank you,
to make up
Jordan.
for the demonetization.
Oh wait, that reminds me.
Thank you, Jordan.
She
Thank
want me
you.
to. She texted me saying, "Make sure that you guys understand that her question wasn't supposed to be received the way it was."
Her question wasn't supposed to be
Thank
18
you.
plus.
Thank
yeah,
you.
no, it was not. It was in the.
Yeah, so all of you.
I'm a jerk. I know.
That's what I
I
thought.
took that question as an SFW question,
Yeah.
as an 18 plus question.
Yeah.
I basically took that.
Yeah, so did I.
How did
Well,
you take it?
yeah,
Don't try to act like an angel.
If I was a chair,
Stop.
who would I want?
Stop.
You know?
And don't
I
you
would
try to act like an
I would
angel
definitely
either.
pick the lightest
This
person.
kid's acting
Thank
like
you.
a gentleman. Oh, who's the lightest? Oh, I guess it's Aoi, one of the more attractive girls in the show.
Attractive girls in the show.
Is she a waifu, Dylan?
I think for a fictional character. Look, anyway, what's the next question? I'm gonna the stream's demonished.
Sean asked, "What's your favorite character in all of Yu-Gi-Oh?"
Wow.
I can actually answer this one.
Yeah, DJ can answer.
I
You
was
answer.
always a Joey's fan.
Joey-
fan.
Yeah,
Joey
dude.
Wheeler.
Love Joey.
Yeah, dude, he's
He does
good.
a great Joey Wheeler
I'm glad I'm not
impression.
the
I
only
don't do
one.
a good Joey.
No, do it.
Hang on.
Do the
we have
Red Eyes
another
Black Dragon.
donation from Underdog Chris, $2.
Thank you so much, Underdog.
Jean-Michel Roger is the king of Soltech.
Well, now that's because, so there's a reasoning behind that. He would always sit in his office for like 50 episodes, and he would always be playing chess, and he would act like everything was like a chess game.
That would sort of
And so
transcend.
that would transcend.
It's a huge chess piece.
And so the last time we see him is he goes into this interdimensional void. We never see or hear from him again.
Because he went into the Vraids.
Can you imagine? I mean, it's not the craziest theory I've heard. I've heard some insane theories. But,
Oh,
Man.
man.
Yeah, I also always liked Kaiba, too.
Seto was good.
Wait, do you like your Joey impression though? It is really
No.
good. The red-eyed black dragon.
Do it. Dude, what was that?
I can't
No,
do
it's
it
good,
on
though.
the spot.
That's fine.
You could probably do it on the spot.
We'll get a
Okay,
recording
that's
of it and
fine.
send it to you guys as extra content through Dylan's Patreon.
Baby Dwagon.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
So who's your favorite then?
I wanted to do a video where like I counted down like my top 20 characters of all time. But there's so many video ideas I have. I don't know if I'll ever get to them. For the people that are watching
Well, then do you
this,
not want to say your favorite?
No,
and we'll say our
I'm going to
favorites
say
instead?
my favorite of all time. You guys give your favorites.
ahead.
I mean, you have 2 shows to pick from.
Yeah.
Vrains and Duel
I
Monsters.
have some of
GX, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me think about this.
I only have 2 shows to pick from too. Just Duel Monsters and
Yeah, no, I know.
Vrains.
Oh man, that's hard.
That's so hard. Such a good question. Such a tough question.
Do you know?
I mean, right now, I'm just gonna go based off Vrains because the last time I watched Duel Monsters, I was probably like half my age right now.
Yeah, and you watched
That's
the
when it
dub.
came
And the
out.
dub is very different than
Yeah.
the sub. Very different.
So I'll say that my favorite character in this show is probably it's probably Kusanagi, honestly.
yeah, that's fair.
But that's because I like the idea of him, at least for now, being the guy that kind of just overwatches all of them. Every time they're like, oh, but if we go in there, this might happen. He's like, here, download this program I
Right.
made for you guys because he's a boss and he just can hack into anything. Like, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And he sends the feeds to the guys in the Knights of Hanoi on their boat. Like, oh, this must be from Kusanagi.
Yeah.
It's like he just like hooked
connects
everyone up.
with Emma. Yeah.
Yeah, he hooked everyone up. So I mean, for me, I think as of right now, he's such an integral character, even though he's not there a lot.
That's a very well said statement. Integral character without dueling, which is tough to do in a Yu-Gi-Oh. Tough to
absolutely.
do.
I think I have 2. It's hard for me to narrow it down to 1, but
We have another donation from Devonte Rounds.
Thank you, Devontae.
$2.
Thank you.
Kiaba. Maybe I was supposed to be
Kaiba,
Kaiba.
yeah.
And Reiji owns Soltech.
Well, Kaiba had Kaiba Core. Reiji had what was the Leo Corporation? That's what it was. And those were the big corporations in those
possible.
respective shows. So it's possible.
Peter V
And
gave his favorite in here. He said Revolver. So far.
Pete is
Pete's
a
loved
guy.
Revolver.
Pete's a big Revolver
Thank you for
guy.
the donation, by the way, man. Thank you so much. Helps out a lot.
1, Duke Devlin. I actually,
Duke Devlin.
I think he's great. I think he was
a
a
unique
revolutionary
one.
as far as like cause no, think about it. Like,
No,
he had the idea for like that totally would have like revolutionized.
Was that the dice game guy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
I did
love
see
those
that.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love
It's a
them.
great episode, and I think as a concept, like if that had taken off, that would have been something that could
Surprised
have
it didn't
Dice
take off.
Monster.
exactly like as
Dungeon
far as like
Dice Monster.
Dungeon Dice
think about
Monsters,
it,
yeah.
like changing the game of tabletop games. I think that was brilliant, and
Yeah.
I think it really played into how his mind worked, and I thought that was really cool. And then Atticus Rhodes. I mean, I think he's sort of like an easy
yeah.
pick in GX, and he's the cool guy. It's like how do you not like Atticus? Honestly,
he's great.
Well, then who's
So-
your favorite Vrains guy? Oh, Zizen, right?
It's Eisen.
Yeah.
it's not that. See that I'd left off.
I forgot that
question.
was.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
fair.
need to ask.
It's funny because I don't think Duke or Fubuki Atticus would make my top 10 in either.
Really, I don't know. I think they're both great.
Atticus was great. Yeah, I mean, it's all
I mean, as
personal
far as maybe
preference.
like dialogue and like personality.
Well,
but
also,
I
you
think-
only watch the dub, so the
only
the
watch
dialogue in the dub is always going to be cornier and cheesier
Yeah.
than in the
I
sub.
thought you'd be a big
Right.
Pegasus guy.
But no,
I love Pegasus.
Atticus was
Who
very
doesn't like
similar.
Pegasus?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Atticus and
Yugi boy.
the dub voice actor Darren Dunstan, who voiced Pegasus, is actually the I don't want to say it wrong. He's like the director of the voice acting for Vrains. He like directs the voice
That's
actors.
awesome.
Yeah, and overlooks
That's really
them.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
so it's
really
really
cool.
awesome.
for the
dub of Vrains, English dub, which we're still waiting for in the States. Hopefully it comes soon. But yeah, my favorite, so generic, but it probably is Yusei from 5Ds. Loved him, the main protagonist from 5Ds. He was like Yusaku, but better. I mean, that's the best way. Well, they're very different, I guess, in ways, but just a genuine guy, and probably my favorite character.
Well, you could do now. You could do a top 10 favorites, excluding
The protagonist.
the top. Ooh, top
That'd be
10
a
side
good one.
characters.
Top 10, yeah. That'd be good.
I like that idea.
Well, that's tough, though. Yeah, it's tough. And that could change. By the time I sit down and make that video, maybe I'll have a different opinion. But, yeah, good question. We'll take a couple more, and then we'll finish things off.
We have a donation from Chris Swan, $2.
Thank you, Chris.
Fubuki was best in the manga.
He was great in the manga, in the GX
'cause,
manga.
yeah.
So was Manjome. Chaz was so much better in the manga. Chris, is an Egyptian god tier patron of mine. Thank you for donating.
Oh,
man.
oh, wow.
Yeah, thank you so much, dude. Thank you. You're really.
We also have another donation from Davis Enos, $2. Will Dylan be buying Soulburner Structure Deck?
Thank you, Davis. Yes, I will be buying 3 Soulburner structure decks because I want 3 Ash Blossom to play in my Dino Shaddolls, and 1 Ash Blossom is a very good hand trap. Not a hand trap, but it's, well, I guess basically it is, and it's a very good card. And you want to run 3 in every deck, but before the structure deck came out, the card cost about like 30, 35, 40.
Jeez.
So to get 3, you're going to pay about $100.
Right.
It got announced that it was coming out in the structure deck, which stunned everyone.
So the price
And,
probably
well, I don't know if the price for like the rare, I don't know what it was, if it was an ultra rare or whatever it was.
Sure.
I don't know if that price went down, because I know Jesse, I don't know if Jesse's watching, Jesse Wood, he sold his Ash for like 35, and the structure decks are going to cost him 30, so he's basically trading 1 for 3 and making $5 off of it.
That's brilliant.
So just to get Ash Blossom, you buy that structure deck, and the Soulburner structure deck is what people are saying one of the best structure decks of all time, because Salomon Greats are probably going to be meta in the competitive game very soon. So yeah, definitely I'll be picking up 3 of those. Good question, and thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. Really helps me out.
We're going to take some questions from the email.
Okay.
Goosey Q emailed and
Goose.
said, which character change from VRAINS has the most impact on you?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Character change.
Who's developed? Honestly, when I think of development, and I know I've been gassing her a lot, but I think of Aoi. I think of Blue Maiden.
She's
I think
changing her her
keeps
style.
changing her
a lot,
outfit.
so it's like-
and maybe it's because the other characters in VRAINS haven't changed incredibly. Revolver a little bit.
Go
Yeah.
would be the only other one.
Well, Go, but not.
It was a catastrophic transformation rather
Yeah,
than...
maybe Go has impacted me the most because
As
it was
far
in
as-
such
yeah,
a bad way.
That's what I would say.
Yeah,
Go is
that's
the
not a
most,
bad choice.
Because we had... Now, if you watched our videos from the beginning, like our first like group video that we did, I feel like all of us were super psyched about Go. We were all like, because Go had come in and we hadn't seen much on him, but like they had shown like, oh, you know, like the orphanage and him with the wrestling and everything, and he was this big guy. And we were like, wow, like he could be one of those like key guys on this team for for the entire series.
Oh yeah, we expected him to be.
And
I mean, we were like, oh,
yeah.
he's got to be like whatever Ignis this is.
Yeah, we
like,
thought he was like we thought he was Earth, I think, but like not in the way that it happened, obviously.
not
and we had these huge,
close.
like I mean, at least I had a big expectation for him. That's why my Go's Gotta Go thing became, because I was so disappointed. I was like, I really thought he was going to be more than what he is. And thank you, Pete, for agreeing with me. I see that in chat.
Yeah, a lot of people not loving Go. Although I will give credit, Daniel Edwards sticks by no matter what.
I respect that.
And you should. You should. So, I don't. You know, Go is just an interesting character to me, but I think he exemplifies what happens when the pressure gets to you, and when you don't get the credit you deserve, and when you just have nowhere else to turn, and you shouldn't give into it. Some people do.
Yeah.
We see it in Hollywood a lot. It was very similar, his decline, to that of someone who turned to like drugs or got hooked on like painkillers or something.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, I know that maybe is stretching it a little bit,
Yeah.
but that's the way I viewed it. And so I think that's the thing that this show has done really well. Maybe it's me overanalyzing things, but I think they have really touched on real life tropes and ideologies and implemented them in the show. And I really love that. And that's why the criticism there from some people who aren't loving it is like, oh, I wish it was more magic-y, like Egypt, like the original Yu-Gi-Ohs were, and not so sci-fi and real. Someone complained that the show was too real, and that was like a negative thing, because I like to watch it to kind of escape from reality, which I guess I can kind of see that. But
that's what going into the VRAINS is all about.
there you go, into the VRAINS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when every time you log into your computer, it's like you're trying to.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
VRAINS as a show is basically what you do when and that's why when Revolver was like,
disconnect.
we need to exterminate social media basically, and VRAINS, because it's all, you know, trash. So he said when they first speed dueled, I didn't think he was necessarily entirely wrong.
Yeah.
Social media to me is very detrimental.
Yeah.
Well,
My
it's-
personal social
So
media.
Kanye was right.
I think that Aoi and Go, like they're both like, if you're talking about real life comparisons, it's like talking about mental health, like right in front of your face.
Seriously.
She was like depressed. Remember?
Yeah.
She was very
She kind of
depressed.
overcame depression by like.
Well,
I like that a lot.
I think through a network of support, like
A
based
network
on the
of
characters
support,
she made the friendships, like especially with Emma. And, you know, like I think
Emma helped her a lot.
Emma helped her a lot. She ended up having a support system from being like alone and like pretty much a loner.
And she realized that like how much Akira actually cared for her, which she
Exactly.
wasn't really sure of at the time, I feel like. And then Go is the other way, where he was on this pedestal, and like as he kept losing, his mental state just got worse and worse and worse and worse.
Amazing point.
He tried to get to the point where I will do anything to win.
We have
and
another
that's why
donation from Noah Rankin for $2.
Thank you, Noah.
Go
Thank
took
you.
a mirror force to the face.
He did.
He did.
And as some people will say, a mirror force changes a man.
Yeah.
That is a quote. And but yeah, no, you're making a great point. Thank you, Noah.
With Go, it's just like he went from the top and he fell all the way to the bottom
Yeah.
and is trying to get back up by doing what he did, becoming part with Earth. And I think that was kind of the final straw. That's why he was like, even when he dueled with him, he was like, yeah, I'm part AI, and like his eye changed and like goes through that whole thing. And I was like you can see he's just crazy. He's out of it. He would do anything. He looked like he was being starved to death.
Yeah, he wasn't eating.
Yeah,
he wasn't eating.
He literally looked like he was just sitting there like, I will not do anything but figure out how to win.
This guy who used to be, I mean, that was an incredible point. This guy who used to be, as you said, on a pedestal, the #1 entertainment duelist in Link Vrains. I think Aoi was number 2. I think Blue Angel was number 2. So Go is above her. And the downfall that he went through and the uphill success that Aoi went through, it's incredible. I've never actually thought about it because these were 2 of the first characters introduced to us.
Yeah.
They were, besides the protagonist.
Of course.
And they faced the same exact turmoil, very similar turmoil,
Sure.
where they both lost in the Tower of Hanoi battles and were absorbed and were saved, and the media gave Playmaker the credit. What did they do though?
Right.
Go took it to heart and turned to nefarious reasonings.
Right.
And we saw the downfall there. What did Aoi do? She didn't. She brushed it off.
She let it.
Yeah.
She
And
let
she
her.
let-
Make. She made it.
She used it as a springboard.
Yes, thank you.
Which is
Yes.
what Go said after his loss to Soulburner. And
Yes.
they both lost to Soulburner as well. And that loss against Soulburner, Blue Girl continued to learn from it. Aoi continued to learn from it, and Go continued to fall.
Yeah.
And
They're the 2 paths in that instance, like the way you can let life affect you.
that's exactly what it is. When you face adversity, you're either going to take 2 paths: the path that Go took, which is best represented by what happened to him, or the path of enlightenment and what Aoi took, where you're just going to become a better, more confident being and let these experiences turn you for the better.
That's what I
Wow.
think the Blue Maiden transformation was.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because she went from like this, like,
Jeez,
I don't really
man.
know what I am, and that's why the Blue Girl was so short,
Yeah.
I think. Because she didn't really know where she was at that point.
She was
and
an Emma
after the
clone at
fact,
that point.
yeah, after the fact, she came up and she was like, I'm my own self, like.
Dude, this show is
The themes, we've never dug this deep into
No,
the themes,
yeah,
and I think
no.
I like it, because there are some good
Pete
themes,
actually
yeah.
brought up he likes how it brings up real world topics.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I like it too.
Like,
I like it too.
Any show that can force you to relate to it and can see you relate with a character, immediately you link with a character and immediately you're going to watch that show, and especially if it has like a personal connection or something like that with you, it's just going to make it that much better.
Absolutely.
It's not just empty writing
Yeah.
to,
Yep.
you
Yeah.
know, to try and get
Absolutely.
tears or get joy or whatever.
Yeah, right.
It's not just a writer going, I know this is going to get everyone to cry.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not writing, fiction, fan fiction. It's,
Right,
it's
right.
something that everyone can relate to, and it can spread importance and spread awareness for certain topics
Absolutely,
and stuff like that,
absolutely,
and
yeah.
it can definitely be used for good.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
absolutely.
Man, the themes here, when you really dig deep, are
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
insane.
they're there.
I never thought of that Aoi and Go parallel,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's there.
Yeah.
Or it's not really parallel. It's what is it when they go?
Parallel.
It is
Yeah,
parallel. Okay.
Yeah, sort of parallel. Yeah.
Parallel
Yeah,
is 2 lines that never touch, they go next to each other, and you can go either way.
I think
I can confirm.
Okay.
I'm a math major.
Yeah.
I thought what is. Never mind. I don't want to
Yeah.
say something stupid. We'll take what time is it?
Perpendicular is the cross.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, they're not perpendicular.
All right, no, they're not. Yeah, I guess we'll take 1 or 2 more questions from the comments.
Okay, from the comments.
From the
So
comments.
Jordan actually commented.
Okay, well this doesn't count, but read it. Read it.
Do you think Jake Paul watches Vrains?
Next question.
Yes. No, definitely not. But
Jeez.
maybe.
If this isn't Jake Paul, if 50% of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh players watch the show, it would be the most watched show in the world, anime-wise.
So are you suggesting that
All
Jake
in.
Paul plays Yu-Gi-Oh competitive?
I was not. That's why I said
Shaq.
this is not a play on Jake Paul. I was just making a generic statement.
So Playmaker asked, you guys were talking about Mayu earlier.
Yes. Mayu, yeah.
How do you guys think the relationship between Mayu and Aqua is going to work out?
Ooh. Well, that's a good point. Well,
great
not
question.
only that, but yes, like to sort of springboard on that question, will Aoi, Blue Maiden want to give Aqua back to Miyu?
Or will Miyu even duel?
Or yeah. So what will
Miyu could be like an outside character that's only in real life and doesn't go into
True.
Brains.
We also know nothing about her.
We
Yeah,
do
we
know
know
nothing.
Post Lost Incident.
Post Lost Incident.
Yeah.
She may have been very similar to Jin, where she can't even speak to anyone, where
Agreed.
she's so traumatized, or she could have been like Wendy's partner, where she's full of life still and just looking
Yeah.
at the
Which
brighter
I
side of
like
things.
to think that's based on how
Her design is.
based on Aqua
Yeah.
is right now. I'd like to think that's how she Miyu is, and I'd like to think that the reunion will be a joyous one, and that Aqua will be happy to see Miyu full of life again.
Yeah.
I think the reunion will be like that. I think it'll be happy, and I think Miyu will be someone that says, well, I don't duel anymore because of that.
So it's like,
But
I want you to keep.
it doesn't that brings me into a dark place. I like the happiness I have in my life because I
keep
don't
Aqua.
duel and I keep it away. And Aoi is so connected to her and was so nice to her that she wants her to keep Aqua.
Miyu
Absolutely.
almost duels through Aoi at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
would
think
like that a lot.
maybe she might go with Kusanagi and sit in the hot dog truck while they duel. I'm not kidding. If they all come as a group,
Emma too. I've been waiting for that Kusanagi and Emma. I don't
ship
think
it.
they know who they are.
Because I think eventually in
No.
real life they all
Yeah.
have to come together.
I hope so.
I think
Everyone
that's,
has to meet the hot dog truck. It has to happen.
Dude, that 10 character meeting in the truck.
It's not all in the truck. I don't think so.
oh no, in the truck.
It's gotta
They're
be
gonna
dude,
revamp
that
the
truck
truck.
gets bigger and bigger because
It
when
does.
Playmaker and Kusanagi were in it, it was very tight. Now Soulburner's in it, and it's big. It just
getting bigger.
expands.
There's 2 rooms now for them to go in.
yeah, what the hell, dude?
I don't know.
Does he live in that truck? Was that ever confirmed?
It was not
It
confirmed.
wasn't confirmed, but maybe it's bigger than we thought, and there actually is a back room there where he can sleep.
Dude, I love that truck, bro.
The truck is great. I was picturing them being a sunny day, looking out on Stardust
Stardust Road.
Road,
Seeing
and
you
Sitting
Sunday
outside
sitting
eating hot
outside
dogs.
eating hot
Okay,
dogs.
okay.
That'd be nice. That'd be a great way to just end the show.
It would be.
Yeah.
After our ceremonial duel,
yeah.
for fun, and then everyone's eating hot dogs, having a laugh. It'd be great.
I'm trying to think. Duel Monsters had a bit of a scene after that duel ended. GX had a bit of a scene, albeit very quick, after that duel ended. 5Ds had a scene after that duel ended, and they had a lot of pre-scenes that were in the future before the duel started, if I remember correctly. Zexal had a scene they kind of left on the cliffhanger after their duel ended. And the thing with Arc 5 is that duel between Yuya and Reiji ended, and it literally, the show just ended at that point. So quickly. So I hope Vrains has at least 5 minutes after the duel ends
Just
to
give
just
us
conclude
something.
everything.
Yeah, wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. Or leave it on a cliffhanger that we'll never get again. And we can always kind of speculate how things go.
Sure.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. But yeah, we'll take one more question. Thank you to everyone.
I've got 2 more written down.
Two
You
more
wanna take
written
2
down.
more?
2 more. We'll take 2
We'll take
more.
the
One of them's quick.
Okay.
So Valen asked, "Who do you want to voice Soulburner in the dub?"
Oh. This is
I
going to
can't
show
speak
my
on
lack
that.
of experience
either.
in terms of dub voice actors.
It's Soulburner.
It's obviously Troy Baker.
Wow, that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be great. I would have loved Matt Shipman.
Nolan North.
But Matt Shipman, unfortunately, he works with Funimation now. I think he's in Texas, so I don't think he'll be able to do it. Matt Shipman would have been my pick to have any role, even though, yeah, Shun and Soulburner I think are very similar in the sense that they get angry very easily. I think Matt Shipman would have played that role really, really well. That would be my pick. I know it's not plausible, it's not going to happen. Matt Shipman's a great guy, really talented voice actor. That would be my pick.
Jesse McCartney. No, and I picked.
He does
him-
have a beautiful soul.
Michael B. Jordan.
No, Jesse McCartney actually, I'm
Childish
almost
Gambino.
positive, voiced Sora in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
So.
Well, now Goofy's the main character.
Yes, Goofy's the main character of Kingdom Hearts. For everyone who had played it and didn't think that, they were wrong. So.
Okay.
All right, last question.
So San asks, "How do you think each Ignis relates to each kid?"
I think they're polar opposites.
See, I've tried to find a pattern, and I cannot find a pattern.
I don't think there.
Not
has
polar
to be. I don't
opposite,
think there really
but,
is a pattern.
At least for Flame and I feel like they're almost polar opposites.
Well, that's true, and you know what? Windy is maniacal and evil, and his partner
Was super happy.
looked very
Super happy.
upbeat and happy.
But now my thought process
Spectre
was
and
like,
Lightning and Jin though.
and Spectre and Earth.
Spectre and Earth.
Lightning and Jin, you don't know what Jin is.
We don't know what Jin is. I guess we
Which
don't
means
know
he could be a very good soul, and that's why, even though I think he's evil.
Sure.
You don't know what Miyu is going to be like.
No.
She could be a pathological liar, and then
Aqua has to tell the
has
truth.
to tell the truth.
Right. Or like knows
So
the
that
truth.
could be the
That's
opposite.
it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you really don't know.
That'd be interesting.
But I mean, that's the closest to a connection I think I've
Yeah,
seen.
I don't think we...
More of an opposite connection than a direct
Yes,
relationship,
absolutely.
which is interesting how that works because
Well,
you
yeah,
think
I guess-
they'd be based off
Yeah,
of
because
their
like with between
victim.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird how that works, but that's I guess the relationship we'd say.
Yeah, probably opposite.
We'll take one more from the live chat. then we'll
So
end
Noah asked,
Noah.
will Spectre and Revolver ever date?
I hope.
No, romance is an element that I wish they maybe flirted with a little more in Yu-Gi-Oh.
There's none.
There's none. And romance is one of those tropes that when it's done well, it just adds to the show. It adds to
Absolutely.
the relationships
Yeah, of
between
course.
characters. In Vrains, there has not been any, and that could be because they have
No real
butchered
life
romance.
connections.
Well, no real life connections, and they've butchered romance in the past when it comes to, I think of like Yuzu and Yuya. I think of what Aki became down the stretch of 5Ds.
Joey and Mai.
Usually, short Joey and Mai. Usually what happens with Yu-Gi-Oh! Romance is the girl character becomes so dependent on the guy character, and like all of her motivations are through the guy character, that it's like, it's just
It
kind of
takes away a character.
It takes away a
Exactly,
character.
yeah.
And
So
they're
maybe
not
it's
even...
best-
So maybe it's best that they leave it out, and I think that's the reason they've left it out.
Yeah.
If we get maybe a tease of romance, maybe between like Aoi and Yusaku in school, in like episode 130, like with 10 episodes left, I wouldn't really mind it. But right now, Aoi has her own motivations. She's not fighting to impress Playmaker or to like get the attention of Yusaku. She's fighting to save Miyu, and that is what I love about her right now.
Yeah,
because
I
it's
agree.
so unfamiliar with Yu-Gi-Oh! Girls. So leave romance out of it for
Well,
now.
I mean, you know what? Why you say that? But then,
Or maybe Emma
then
and-
someone in your community did mention they were writing a fanfic for Naoki and Aoi, and I think that's great. So
Naoki and Aoi.
could end it right on
Naoki. We need more Naoki. All right, one more question.
Oh, one more question.
Just take it from the live chat.
Uh,
Any question you see.
Let's see.
Then we'll wrap things up.
I don't have a question yet. So
what do you mean? Someone ask a question.
Someone will write one. Someone will write one. First person to write one wins.
wins
Well,
what?
wins.
The steak dinner top donuts.
should they do a Yu-Gi-Oh series not in the future, like the original or GX or NGX?
If there is a next show, I think it should be.
It should
By
be in the same. It
Elliot.
should be in the same. Thank you, Elliot. It should be in the same universe as one of the other shows. The only issue with that is everything now revolves around links. To do fusion summoning, you pretty much need to do links. So how do you go back and then incorporate links unless you're going to change the entire board again by adding a new summoning method?
As it affects the card game.
Yes, yes. So that's why it's very hard now. They've kind of trapped themselves because everything is based around having links to play
Could you
off
do
of.
it as a futuristic play style that is almost post-apocalyptic, where they're back to like very minimal technology?
Yeah, I guess you could.
So like they're saying like in a non-futuristic
Oh,
format.
you mean like in a
so
non-sci-fi
like lifestyle?
setting? Yeah.
So like I think like
Oh,
what
yeah.
you're saying is they could do it in almost a way that the futuristic gameplay is still there, but the futuristic life and style of the show could
Right.
not be there.
You're right. I misinterpreted the question. I thought you were asking, like, could they go back to, like, maybe a Duel Monsters or GX, like a show when those shows took place?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
But I misunderstood. Yeah, no, they definitely could. Should they? Yeah, I mean, I'm down for anything. I'm so easy to please. You guys know. I'm super easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm down for anything. And the best time to be a Yu-Gi-Oh fan is
Right now.
the 3 months when the new Yu-Gi-Oh gets announced and the
old
current
one
Yu-Gi-Oh
ends.
starts to wrap
Yeah.
up, because you get some amazing ending duels usually, hopefully. Fingers crossed it doesn't end like the last one. And you get all this new information about the new show. So anyway, we're going to wrap things up there. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the Vrains episode 2, Candle in the Flame.
In the wind.
In the
bro.
wind!
Come on.
Oh no!
I knew I was messing it
So
up.
Did you even
perfect.
watch
I
the
knew I was
episode?
messing
He had it so
Candle in the
perfect.
wind.
Candle in the. That's why I looked at you. Candle in the wind. Thank you to everyone who stayed the entire time we were watching.
Thank you, everyone.
Posts.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
thank
you.
you guys. Thank you, DJ, for moderating on short
Of
notice. We
course.
appreciate it. Nick and Cal, thank you both for coming on. A special thank you to Stardust Nobody, who makes the thumbnails for this series.
Great
Follow
job.
him on Twitter and YouTube. At Stardust, I think it's somebody now. I'll link it down below in the description when the video gets re-uploaded, but definitely follow him out. Big thank you to Sam for doing the thumbnail work, and thank you to Kamau Art for that beautiful poster right there. I love it. It's great. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, Omni Lord, and Neko Yuu-Chan, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Bouldergeist and Jesse Wood, and to my Egyptian God tier patrons, Syn Cloud and Chris Swan. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. I really Cannot tell you how much it helps me out financially and lets me make videos like this for you guys. Be sure to check out my channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. And remember, every single Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be live on this channel discussing Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS and other Yu-Gi-Oh! Questions from you guys. This wraps up Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the VRAINS, Episode 2, Flame in...
Jesus Christ!
In the wind!
Candle in the wind.
Third time. This wraps up Talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the VRAINS, Episode 2, Candle in the Wind.
There we
Thank
go.
you all so
There
much
we
for
go.
watching. Love you guys, and I hope you have an amazing day.
Have a good one,
See you
guys.
later.
See ya.
Forgot I have to end the stream. Hold on.
Oh no.
Oh, this is awkward.
All right,
Take
bye,
2.
guys.
See ya.
Thank you guys.